vlog 127, and I'm gonna try to keep it as short as possible. Let's talk about the predatory behavior of this guy yesterday. If you haven't seen the vlog, yeah, I thought about, I think about a lot of stuff. If you haven't watched my vlogs before, I'm really studying people for a long time, the behavior, and I'm meeting all kind of people from all kind of levels of society. I am at very, let's say it like this, in any kind of level of the society, I have very trusted people. That also says something about, my own behavior, and, unfortunately I cannot show everybody, but at one point I will start showing, and probably I will go to Malta. At the moment I'm still in Sofia, Bulgaria. I tested a lot of people before we would actually start working with them, and they drop like leaves from the tree in autumn, and that's how I play the game, right? Especially with new people, there's only a small amount of people who actually want to do something in their life. But to get to the point first, like I said, this predatory behavior of this guy, of yesterday, he made obscene movements with his body, and he with his body language, he let's say how it is, he wants to suck dick. But also, when it's about the environment I was in, I was vlogging, and I was sitting on the bench over there, and I simply, he took me a little bit off guard, because I totally did not expect it at that time. But I think it was around 12 o'clock Bulgarian time. I'm sorry, I'm constantly adjusting the camera. The thing is, I think it's good now. The thing is that I thought about it. I should have done things different. I just walked away. I felt a little bit, shocked. Maybe a little bit, also really not knowing what to do, because and I think I did it good by walking away. And there was another option: go to him and try to put him on the camera and try to make him publicly, let's say, that he would be seen by other people. I made a post about it. A lot of people actually reacted on it. I also received good amount of DMs. Some people are concerned about that kind of behavior. Me personally, I think there's a lot of things wrong about it, and let's talk a little bit about it from both sides. Nothing is one-sided. So let's talk a little bit first about his side. It's warm, right? Yesterday it was also warm, now it's warmer actually, and that's why I also walk on this side of the park. So all the weekend warriors, the people who have the 9 to 5, and now they can have relaxed time, or whatever they call it. When it's about those people, I would invest my weekends to escape the 9 to 5. Don't go off topic, Dylan. Talk about the guy. The thing is, number one, if he would think that he was ethical busy, that he was acting, now this is good, I would let the world know about it, because if you do something ethical, you don't have any boundaries when it's about exposing yourself. But if you walk around in the bushes, big sunglasses, he didn't wear a hoodie, he was wearing a body warmer, is also in so many ways wrong. There is so much wrong about this character that I saw yesterday, that he didn't think things through. I don't believe this. And the thing is, he did it in a way that is all part of his character, so he thinks it's normal. Because otherwise, you're not gonna dress up with the sunglasses, your body warmer. There's a whole preparation involved. And the thing is, if you're watching this, maybe you're one of those stalkers, I don't know, because you popped out of nothing. The thing is, what is wrong about this? And approaching strangers with very obscure, obscene gestures. See, for me, when I would label something very, very extreme, then it has to go very bananas, because, on many different kind of facets of life, I went pretty much, well, I don't want to say all the way, because there's always something more extreme, but to do this in public, and the location is already wrong, I think. If you're one of those guys who is dance around in the bushes to hide things from your wife. You know, because that's also a lot of, in Holland it had happened way much more. But somehow, with all the respect to Bulgaria, because I love Bulgaria, I think this kind of weakness starts to sizzle in also over here in a much more, you know, open way. Because otherwise this guy, I don't understand that you know, that he actually did it like this. His approach, let's say you're a gay guy, and I got nothing against gay guys, but why don't you go to a bar, meet, well, we don't have to label people as gay. The thing is, you know, meet people over there and, you know, do weird things over there. I think that is way less, you know, because it's pretty appropriate. People are drunk and act like idiots, especially in the West, but it would be a better location. That's what I think. Or go on social media, or go on the dating apps, you know, go on these gay dating apps, and then send weird messages. In general, I don't think you should ever, without the consent from the other party, send weird pictures. The thing is, once the gates are open, and I am also very open about those things. You know, when I have, let's say a little bit chats with people that I, you know, hang around with, and I'm talking about the opposite sex, I'm not gay. The thing is, you know, we exchange things. So, but that is with consent from both sides. This is really one-sided, and that's why I think the word predator belongs, that label belongs to his behavior. And not only this, if you have predatory behavior, that means also you don't really control yourself, right? When you really want to fuck somebody, and you make those gestures, you know, obscene gestures, it was pretty clear that he wanted to, I don't know who has to suck who. That wasn't really clear, but the thing is that was his main intention. You know, let's say it like this. In his case, wouldn't it be better just to say first hello? See, I also had other incidents also over here in Bulgaria that people just opened the dressing rooms. You know, I think I said it yesterday also. Those were security people, and I see normal people. I do believe normal people would go to the police and say, hey, you know, fire this guy. See, for me that's too much hassle. And the thing is, that was also, I think, an incident of the guy, but because this was also a guy, he also didn't control his behavior, and somehow predatory behavior to satisfy your own, let's say, lust, because it's, I do believe it's pure lust. But not only lust, that they really desire the other person, they need to have, they do have some sort of sex drive, I think, that is so on such a level that they cannot control themselves. But I'm going to this with a point, because yesterday I made a post also about it. You know, keep your children away from the sidelines in the park, because a person with that kind of predatory behavior, well, if I would have children, and I also asked, by the way, people with children, you know, would you like that your child is running around knowing that somebody is just luring in the bushes, try to get his needs satisfied? Nobody says, yeah, I would like this. So that was also one of the reasons I just posted it. See, and I gave a very general description. The only thing that I saw, you know, was his yellow sunglasses, like those people who wear on the ski thing, or maybe a little bit smaller, like those motorcycle people. That was the size of the sunglasses. Big body warmer. And you know what? That is probably a description that can be thrown off by him in a finger snap. I understand that too, because I also thought about it. But he was also, he popped up like those rabbits, you know, those, oh, I don't know what, those ground animals. They pop up and they have to hit them with a hammer. That's how he actually popped up and also vanished. Because when I went back home yesterday, I thought, you know, let's check. You know, maybe I got him somehow, somewhat in the shot, and I spent some time on it just to tick through the scene. I think, well, yeah, I would say per millimeter, but I don't know how to say it. Let's say, oh yeah, per maybe a couple of milliseconds. So, but I didn't see him. So he was extremely skilled in just popping up, and this was not his first rodeo. But I don't see any positive the way he tries to get what he needs. Maybe it's also excitement. And by the way, if you got your own thoughts about what I'm saying, you know, that I shouldn't have any sympathy for the guy. The thing is, I don't have sympathy for the guy. I think it's just me observing again, let's say a little bit more, you know, out of the ordinary person, because I do believe it's a little bit out of the ordinary, and that is also something. But out of the ordinary behavior like this, I don't think there's something good about it, because he can do way much, well, better. I don't know. And also next to that, another point that I thought about, a guy in a body warmer, he had also fuzzy hair. Let's consider also the hygiene part. You know, he looked like a very dirty man. Not only his behavior, of course, his behavior emphasizes on the fact that he would totally be, repulsive for me, because I'm not gay. The thing is, think about this, he's sweating over there, and then maybe he finds another guy who's also sweating his ass off, and then they do their job. See, I also noticed now, because now I'm also not gonna hyper focus on it, but you know, there are a lot of areas, you know, there are all kind of tissues on the floor, condoms, and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, you know, now, let's say 16 years ago I came for the first time in Bulgaria. It happened to me once also in one other park, but that guy sat down next to me, and he also made very obscene gestures actually. But the thing is, he wasn't, you know, like very predatory. He just sat down. I didn't expect anything. I also didn't expect something like that at that time here in Bulgaria. But the thing is, now, you know, there are a lot of, because this morning I did an 11-kilometer run, but I see that the amount of tissues are rising. I don't know what's happening also here in Bulgaria. They actually forbid the LGBTQ thing talks on schools, which is a good thing. I do believe this, in case you're getting offended by what I'm saying. I'm in Bulgaria. I do believe, personally, I do believe it's a good thing, you know, everything. See, okay, you're gay, you're lesbian, okay, but now you got all kind of other things going around. Hey, you can be a dog or a cat, and then you get a passport. I don't know how all those things work. But one weird thing, and that's a development in Holland. I also lived for 30 years in Holland. The thing is, things are way much out of control over there. People have all kind of emotional damages and, you know, mental diseases. You know, I also thought about this, but you know what? Let's finish this talk about this guy, because I'm already thinking about a lot of other topics. But this guy, you know, if you're watching this, fix yourself. You know, approach people on the internet, and then you actually have probably way much more yield, positive yield of your efforts. You know, I'm very curious about his conversion rate. You know, making that kind of gestures without saying even hello or any, I don't know what. You know, just say something instead of straight away get to the point. Maybe that's also some sort of code for those people, that it's, you know, that it's so easy that once, you know, that other people also scouring the parks, and when they bump into each other they only have to do that kind of signs. I don't know. But I still do believe, if that's really the method to get rid of your this high level of desire, or I don't know what you got. But anyway, I'm very curious about his conversion rate. Let's say he approaches 10 people like this on a day, strangers. Maybe how many people actually would, you know, call the police, right? because I don't believe that everybody really enjoys that. Me, he really took me off guard a little bit, because I was vlogging, sitting actually on the picnic table, you know, on the picnic table, and then he pops up, and then also, you know, disappears in the finger snap. So yeah, I don't know, maybe that's also an increasing trend. The West is coming more to the over here, but without it, I don't want to talk bad, of course, but somehow maybe the country gets a little bit too much influenced. I don't know. But from all the people that I actually meet, they totally don't have any of those intentions, you know, those weird things. I do see an increase of other stuff, but don't talk too much about this. That's maybe for another day. When it's about my running, I recorded today, so I'm gonna close this topic. Gay guy, done deal, it's off my heart. Whatever you think, maybe you're one of those people, and you know, they say, drop something that you say, yeah, it's all correct, and that is just the protocol, how we operate. Anyway, so when it's about my run this morning, you know, I did an 11-kilometer run. And in one of my previous videos, I talked about that I, the day before, ate a lot of the Bulgarian wukanka. And yesterday, I did it again. I took 200 grams of, not even wukanka, I just ate one level below this. I don't remember the name. It's not the pepper thing, but it's a round sausage thing. But also towards the dried sausage part. And again, okay, the beginning was a little bit shitty, because before I went to bed I smoked a cigarette and I was staring out of the window, just, you know, try to evaluate a lot of stuff of the day. And you know, normally that is not my protocol to prepare for a run, but today again, no problem. So dry sausages before you do any kind of exercises might replace this you know, pre-workout, this whatever you need to swallow, you know. So for example, I don't do the proteins, I don't do creatines, I do take vitamin C, I do take the extra omega-3, and that's it. But I take a lot of vitamin C, but also drink lemon juice, squeezed lemon juice with ice cold water and ice. Love it, like it. I do believe that the skin somehow somewhat benefits from it. Maybe that's all mental. But I did feel today again, well, at the beginning of the run actually, I felt like I could do 5, and then at one point, you know what, you know, do one extra on top, you know, so I had 11. Without actually problem. I could actually do more. So when it's about doing the tests, I'm going to do so I'm gonna wait now 2 days. I also did the calisthenics, by the way, with this run. So the next 2 days only calisthenics, no runs, no endurance, and then after 2 days I'm gonna go for the 15 kilometers, and I will double my intake of the dry sausages. That is gonna be my test. So, what is the value of this now again, Dylan? Well, I like to recommend stay away from powders and testosterone and all that kind of stuff. The thing is, try to do what I'm doing, you know, it's all natural. Yeah, and then of course there are people who label themselves vegetarians and I don't know what. See, I am not into all those. See, let's label myself as a very old school, maybe rotten in the old school game guy. You know, I'm not into vegetarian or veggies or you know, all those labels that normal people like to take. And when it's about, and let's switch the topic, or a little subtopic, you know, okay, in one vlog I also mentioned, right, people always come in groups. They're gonna find each other, and or while they find each other, they discover all kind of mental problems. I'm not going too deep into this, but it was a funny one. This is one guy. He said, what did he say? Autistic. That was he was autistic. The thing is, I would recognize that because, I would see. I've been in places when I was young where people were totally lunatics, and I was on a psychiatric. I don't know how to pronounce it at the moment. Department of some kind of youth thing, all kind of idiots. The thing is, and I'm including myself. The thing is, because I was emotional, unstable, and I don't know how they labeled me. But it's a Holland thing. Anyway, this guy, he labeled himself as autistic, and then I was already waiting for it because I knew he's not autistic. But he had a little buddy. He also says, I'm autistic. Totally not any sign of autism. The thing is, what the hell? I thought that's very weird, and it's not the first time. Like if you watch my vlogs for the first time, again, I'm meeting so many people that I can make that I can make really predictions when I see the people walking, when I hear them talking, when they speak about little tiny lies. I can predict the amount of time when the bigger lie is coming. I can also influence that by actually fueling the enthusiasm while they spread the lie, and that they have this victory of, this internal victory of, yeah, that he didn't discover it, but I want to get higher. And I actually did this with multiple people, but that's another topic. I do believe, when it's about those autistic people, look, I got nothing out against those people, but there are real people with real problems, those really all over the top autism people, and it comes also with a lot of other stuff. The thing is, I don't understand sometimes why do you need to label yourself like this while you're totally normal. Maybe you're young, you need to figure out life, and maybe somehow, somewhat, you need some extra excitement in life, because I don't understand where this is coming from. But people with, let's say, let's so-called self-proclaimed mental diseases, their life is in general very stable. I noticed this. The more stable a life is, the more stable. So they have people who are alive. They know where they're coming from. They're living in their own country. Stability. There's no real excitement. The only thing excitement that is scrolling on Facebook and see how good other people doing better, and all talking about all kind of diseases. And then you also need one, because attention. Somehow I do believe it's attention, but somehow people also are so convinced about themselves that they really need to convince other people that they have it. See, for me, I'm very strict about it. He actually told me about it and I said, no, you don't. Very simple. Also, when people tell me you got ADHD or ACDC or OCDC, the thing is, no, you don't. No, you don't. If you, let's say it like this. See, I don't want to label myself. People labeled me, and I always fought against it. But this is what I noticed. People who are a little bit more active, hyperactive, out of control active, especially when they're young, if you never went to jail or you got arrested before you were 12, you don't have problems. I had. But that was also multiple reasons. So there are always multiple reasons. But people who label themselves with imaginary stuff, while when you look at their life, there's actually freakishly nothing wrong with them, because they don't have this extreme problems. They don't have, they don't go through a boatload of relationships. That there is a lot of signs. And if they did go through a boatload of relationships, because everything comes along with behavior, specific behavior, like that you're a little bit more hyperactive, you go through a lot. But also, when, let's say, your intelligence is a little bit higher, or your resilient mind and or discipline, then you just absorb as much as you can and learn from it, and maybe you become at this point that you can speak about it in a way that people will take something from it. And I'm not talking about myself, but I want to talk to those people. If you're watching and you label yourself as, I don't know what, one of those diseases or and depressed, just really look at your own habits, man. Also what you really got. You know, why would you need the extra attention? You know, why would you need the excitement? You don't need this. People who have their parents in place, they live even close to each other. They got their real family. They sit around the fireplace with auntie and uncle. There is nothing really going on. There are no real problems. The only problems that you get, there's nothing going on. Everything is too stable. And that's why I'm also many times hammering on being very disciplined about your good habits. So for example, one of the good habits that I really promote in my vlogs are simply be very disciplined about training, and especially training when you don't like it, because then you build this resilience in your brain, and then maybe when you do this, you maybe also start kicking those labels to the curb. You know, they don't exist to you. You know, especially when you start getting a buddy who also has fucking autism, which is totally bullshit. But also I really don't understand. And they have everything in place. Of course, there's always something they can figure out. Yeah, but we live in a very poor country. Poor country. You have a poor mindset. And the thing is, when you watch this, you know I mean everything from a good place, from my heart, because you need this digital uncle who put you red pepper in your ass, and then you can actually move on and prosper in life. Because if you label yourself, you would say, oh yeah, that was because of this and this, because of this and this. If I would listen every time to my body would say, you know, now I'm tired, now I cannot train, or I feel my lungs, or my legs, or this and this hurts, or I trust me, before I build up to do a run or a calisthenics thing, I am building up a whole stack of excuses, but I'm using this stack of excuses to say, well, that's a big opponent and I just crush him every single day, every single day, every day. This is how I see it. Every day the clock resets, and if it doesn't reset, so tomorrow I'm not gonna wake up, so be it. And that's really how I think, because there is nobody. If I would go now, I would collapse over here on the floor. The only thing that I feel sorry for is that the people who have to clean up my body over here, and they probably don't know what to do with it, because, you know, I'm living in an Airbnb over here, and yeah. And then you might think, yeah, though, what about your trusted people? The thing is, there is trust on this kind of level, but I am not their son. I am not their cousin or whatever. I don't have this family connection that would say, no, let's pick up the body. You understand? And I'm very realistic about this. And the thing is, you don't hear me cry about it. It only fuels me to do better and faster, you know, to present myself to the world better. That is maybe also one of the things that I maybe, let's say it like this, maybe I don't have a choice, that I'm, let's say, more, you know, when I would say one day, you know, I am gonna give up, and then I cannot sit in my parents' home. They're a long time gone. I cannot, you know, you understand. And that's why my life, every single second, I really enjoy it, you know, because I can look at a tree and just discover all kind of things in it. You can lock me in the toilet and I will figure out a very nice way to entertain myself. And no, not only, you understand. So I find joy in a lot of, let's say, normal people stuff. I find joy in conversations having with strangers, and not the ones with the obscure language, body language. Anyway, I do find joy in a lot of stuff, and somehow, somewhat, I would love that, let's say, a small percentage who watches my vlogs, that they also get a little bit more in this mindset that life is so much more interesting than they think. Because if you think that life is interesting, very interesting, and you would really start living like this, you would speak with more energy. You would actually start working on yourself, because you want to be the best version of yourself. You want to be the best version towards your spouse. And that's also another thing. There are so many couples, they actually predict no, they preach how happy they are to me, and that I also should have children. You know, don't project your fake happiness on me, because for a lot of people I know, the moment that they're separated from each other, the woman is in, and not separated like divorce or whatever. No, just that they a little bit have time for themselves. The moment that they speak with me, then they talk about other women. Look at other women, stare at other women, and not in a way like, oh, well done. No, squeaky weaky time. That's what I think about. Well, how genuine and authentic is that relationship? I don't believe that's very authentic. And the thing is also, when it's about the children, stressed out, slamming doors, I don't know, where is the happiness? And of course, like I said also in previous vlog, I do know those very super couples. I really do know them, and I actually do know only 3. The way they treat their children, the way they treat each other, in the most beautiful way. Which when when I sit next to people who treat each other like in the most respectful way, also in the most beautiful way, but also not shouting, but also when there's something wrong about the other person, that they can actually speak about it, tell the whys, and maybe a little bit of direction where they should go with this. That brings me in some state of awe. That is something, that's what I want. And that's why I also don't settle very fast. And the thing is, I'm also not gonna lick ass just to stick with one single woman. That is another thing. I'm not gonna change my whole perspective of life and the way I speak or the way I train. There is things that I need to do just in order to present myself in the most, let's say, optimized way possible. And like I always put in as a disclaimer, I'm far away from a Brad Pitt level, but the thing is, this is what God gave me, and the thing is, I need to work on it and try to optimize it, let's say it like this. And if I fail, well, you can say a big ha-ha, but in the meantime, I just try to throw out a lot of energy offline, online, so I don't see any negative outcome of the way I live at the moment. All my actions are also compounding, and this is not about that I'm talking about me bragging. This is about that I want to share this kind of stuff, that you can actually start opening your eyes, automate a lot of stuff in your life, and actually start also generating a little bit extra income. Because it is not, maybe I also really figured out to narrow it down, cut away all the mambo jumbo that keeps people away from actually taking action. Because like I said, I started selling door to door when I was 11, and not only this, I'm failed so many times with offline businesses, managing people, because I was totally going in bananas, willy vanilly, and all the way. But that I learned a lot from it, and I still, until this day, and probably way much longer, when I'm gonna be just a sec, there's a guy. The thing is, I keep on extracting a lot of lessons from it, and it's not only because that everything went to hell. No, it's also about that a lot of things did succeed in a way that I can actually share with, let's say with normal people. And especially now, I'm building a very strong and solid foundation. I took my time, and the last time that I actually lost everything was I was 41. And from that time, I'm really, I'm not, of course I want things to go faster, but I'm already in the position that I don't have to talk with anybody. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to be anywhere. See, the thing is, some people, those digital nomads, they're always stuck to somebody, who is, they're, how do you say this? They give them the assignments. I don't know how those words go. See, me, I already see so many angles, maybe also in a more maybe maybe very optimistic, delusional way, but it's not delusional because I'm already building it. And what am I doing now is actually I want to make it accessible to the people. So that's why I start giving away the templates, the strategies, the way I train, the way I think about life. Maybe also opens your eyes, because this is also another thing what I'm always saying. When you actually get more freedom, you get more healthy, you start thinking different. Well, first of all, you will lose a couple of losers, beautiful, but next to that there will other losers coming to approach you on this coast that looks very prosperous, that you become a point of attraction, a point of opportunity, and that attracts negative and positives. And the positive ones that fit your morals, your standards, are very, very small. And I can tell you this honestly, the thing is, the more you go to the mediocre level, the more people you can probably sit around with and laugh and, you know, say, oh, did you watch the news? Another war. Let's put a post on how much you care. And then a couple of friends will, I feel the same. No, you don't want that. There will be always war, there will be always movement. But, you know, you don't need to say, to speak about that kind of stuff to get a little bit of attention. And, you know, there are a lot of people, you know, they say, yeah, I feel really for that kind of, that population over there. I'm not going into this, but it's more or less just about attention, right? Just also going outside talking about how the world is going to hell. We're not going to hell, we just live a life, and nothing is a straight line, right? It's not like that, let's say again, I'm gonna mention the word God again, that everything has to, that he planned that everything needs to be linear. That exactly the summer in August number 3 is the same temperature as in August, I don't know what, 100 years ago. I don't believe that. Nothing is linear. Nothing in life. Nothing between the years, other individuals. Nothing is linear. They're not gonna, they have this exact thing, you know, from 1 year till, I don't know, 75, and then you die. Exactly the straight line. And a lot of mediocre people who live 9 to 5 thing, okay, a little bit problems, divorce here and there, cheating. Now that's almost normal stuff. And some people really label this, that is really exciting. That's life. That's another thing, right? It's all nice that you're romantically involved with your first girl that you knocked up. Again, I always talk about this, but how can you be the best man for a woman that you probably, yeah, not even know that you really love because you never tried something else? How do you know that this Magnum ice cream is the best? Because you, now yeah, say how it is, you ate a few others. And how do you become more, you know, mature? How you approach your spouse? Simply by going through a lot of shitty relationships, or relationships are not shitty. That, you know, sometimes you sync for a little while, so sometimes you never synced with each other. You know, syncing with means you're on the same line. You know, that there are so many stuff that needs to be matured, right? Relationship wise, business wise, traveling wise. And in the beginning you're a little bit scared. So much stuff needs to mature. I also do believe in another thing, and without actually getting into too much details, but if you only had one partner in your life, well, the excitement between the sheets is probably and some people who tell me, you know, we banging each other, I can see where the lust is, because like I said also in other videos, you know, okay, wait a minute, I'm gonna think about my words. See, when I get involved with all kind of people from different levels of society, that means also I have a colorful play of interesting women. But at the moment I'm single, so if you're looking at me and maybe you think, no, that guy sounds pretty solid, and maybe he can provide a good time, you know, DM. And like always, you know, I'm a very respectful man, and also, you know, I put in the work. Jesus, I also constantly try to avoid people. But anyway, this is not turns into a self-promotion thing. I started actually with a conversation about a guy that maybe he should consider to approach other people with a different kind of mindset, but also prepare a little bit. You know, it would be a whole different thing that if he would not dress up a little bit, you know, put a little bit cream on your body instead of walking around with a big pair of glasses, big body warmer. So yeah, that's what I think. You know, take a little bit care of yourself. Next to that, what did I talk about? I think I talked about, let me see actually how long I talked. 40 minutes. I think that's a good thing. So take it or leave it, again, with all the stuff that I said. But somehow, you know, I'm always trying to criticize myself. Not try, I always evaluate myself, but also criticize myself. Then I've, you know, sometimes I think, okay, you should have done this a little bit better. What would be the outcome of this? So yeah, then I think, yeah, missed chance. But you know what? I'm not the guy who can step in this DeLorean and go back a few days and then change the whole course. No, we simply learn. We don't make the same mistake, and we just move on fast and then learn from it and try to implement it also as fast as possible, because you know, you want to test the things. Is it actually really going to work out better? But also at one point, when you go through a boatload of people, meet a lot of people, well, you will also see similarities. This person has this characteristics, you know, and that's okay. That's a little bit not really my cup of tea. And the thing is, and then those are the other people. See, I like to hang around with people who are interesting to watch. I said this before. My 100% people, they are interesting to watch, whatever they do. Even if they step into the car, you already think there's a whole circus going on. And it's true, I'm not bullshitting you. We can have a good time, and I'm talking about people who are actually from the age from 18, and the oldest one is actually 64. Anyway, besides that, those people, they have, yeah, also, first of all, a huge, yeah, they have everywhere connections, that's for sure. Somehow, somewhat, the people that I actually can get along with, they also can get along with a lot of people in different levels of society. That is maybe something I never thought about, but when I think about one person now, he has also the ability to actually, yeah, he has a little bit maybe a shorter fuse about tolerating somebody else's bullshit, because I'm a little bit more, let's say, political in it. But the thing is, we have very, very similar things. They also went through very, very, let's say, some more heavier experience than the normal people. That makes them also really understand that, you know, they don't have to walk around with bravura. They don't have to walk around, look at me, all this. Because now I also think about another person, and he also, you know, he walks around. Oh yeah, let me talk about one other person, and then I'm gonna stop this. See, when I came to Bulgaria over here, I was wearing fake Nikes, which I bought in Malta for 25 euros. Fake Nikes, they look very good. Walking wise, okay, a little bit less, but they look great. The thing is, the first thing when I visited people over here, they said, yeah, my friend said he has fake Nikes. I would never think about this. See, some people might think, yeah, Dalla, why didn't you buy this? You know, though they had a nice camouflage print, you wouldn't even find them on original ones. But anyway, I really liked how they looked like, and from the outside they look great. Anyway, but that was a very important thing. Now I'm getting to a point, and this is about not walking around with bravura. You don't have to prove anything to. I know people who own multiple real estate stuff, and no, not the ones that have to walk around in suits and lick ass the whole day, and when you would listen to them, you almost falling asleep after 2 minutes, because they're not really interested in just chasing the money. But I know people who have so much real estate, and if you would see them, they walk around in a white t-shirt, very sloppy, maybe 20, no, not 20, maybe 5-year-old short pants, and that's it. Slippers, the drinking just a beer at the liquor store. I know those people. And not only that, with those people I also, sit on the table, sharing food, sharing thoughts. And again, this is not to brag, but if you can somehow implement a little bit of the things that I'm saying, and it maybe opens a little bit more doors of opportunity, more access to different kind of people, because I do believe this also. If you're also constantly hanging around in the same circle of people, you actually gonna find ways to make your life more interesting, maybe in a fake way, like those people who label themselves with all kind of diseases, or I don't know what, mental issues. I'm depressed. Of course you're depressed. If you really look at somebody's behavior or their habits, I would already buy a rope by only listening to them about the real habits that they actually have. Watching television at 7. What else do they do? There are very similarities when people talk about being depressed or don't see the thing in life. They watch a lot of television, and I'm not talking bad about television, because once I did mention one thing that I watched last year. I watched 35 minutes of television. This year, not one single minute. And I mentioned this in a group of fitness people, the people who train indoor. Everything needs to be warm and cozy. Nothing against the fitness people who are really putting in the work, but the chubby ones, the ones that have train and they have to wear those muscle shirts to show something how fat they are. I don't know what the deal is. The thing is, those people that went totally bananas on me. So what I actually did, I showed them the improvement of getting rid of a habit that has anything beneficial for a human being, watching television, sitting in a square, watching a square thing and watching other people, their adventures and or their misery on the news. They totally crushed me. The thing is, of course, I didn't take it personal, but I was very surprised about it, that, let's say, quote unquote, disciplined people, would go totally nuts about it. And I post the same post in a calisthenics thing, no negative things. Anyway, I'm not trying to, make a video about calisthenics versus gym, although I do have my own thoughts about it, because I do believe your character becomes more stronger if you train every day, winter, summer, 40 plus degrees, minus 15 degrees. I do believe that my character builds in a way that's much more resilient. I believe that. But like I said, the fitness people who have the very nice defined aesthetic physique, but like this, of course they put in the work. But there's so many people in the gym, they're not over there to build that physique. They just want to say, look at me. And of course, you also have those women, and with those nice asses. Yeah, that's nice. They put in the work. So no word against this. But I do believe also the gym is a place for people who like to be comfortable, and I do understand that. But if you want to build a little bit more resilient mind, I do believe you have to suffer. You have to run with 40 plus degrees in the fucking mountain or in the hills in Malta. Looking for, you're actually begging for a little bit, shadow. Or what I also believe, when there's so-called pain in your body, just train, just do it, and make sure you have some sort of structure in place. I mentioned this yesterday, and I'm also going to talk about, I'm going to stop talking within a couple of minutes. I talk about structure a lot. If I don't have structures in place, I also would skip more days. I skip, I think, this year so far around 6 or 7 days. But then I always did a lot of walking and or replace it with I don't know what. But somehow I think in total I did around 6 or 7. Just let's say to recover. But in general, I don't like it, because the next day I feel like a loser, because you never get this day back. And I also do believe in this. So for example, a lot of people see things per day. I see things per not also in hours anymore, because I live a life of very freedom, so I'm not attached to anything or anyone. This is what I do think sometimes when I would, oh yeah, let's say 2 days ago I was pretty exhausted, still trained. Day after I could feel that I'm tired, but you know, it's just leveled out over the days, and today I felt again great. Now I feel really, really great. So when you're tired one day, it doesn't mean, you know, it's just a period. Everything is just a period, and it will pass by. You know, your tiredness, your so-called quiet tiredness. And some people who are 25 talking about that they're fucking tired. What are you fucking tired of about? Yeah, maybe sick and tired of the way you live. You know, watching television, you would also get sick of it. That makes people restless. I also guilty of watching television. You know, also when I had longer relationships, watching television. But one of the longer relationships that I had, this person knows that I'm not the best person to watch television with, because I always figure out something or I just fall asleep. Pure of boredom or hangover that I was at those days. But anyway, I think it's time to stop rattling. What is the takeaway from this video? Well, I think the general takeaways from my vlogs are, you know, try to look a little bit outside your circle. Don't label yourself, or don't let label yourself by other people, you know, or let other people speak you, let other people put negative thoughts in your mind. One example I mentioned about the fact a 38-year-old fart tells me that he has to be a little bit more careful with his body doesn't work more like 20. I said I'm fucking 46 and I'm only getting nutser every single day. Bam, 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 until it breaks. When I was in my 20s, people told me, yeah, you know, because I did a lot of heavy bag stuff and a lot of other things that, yeah, maybe, yeah, they would say, yeah, your joints, be careful with this. If I would listen to those people, yeah, and then stop doing this, stop doing that, other things maybe I should have stopped, but also I don't, you know, I am very grateful for all the, let's say, the extreme situations that I have been in, because I can share my life has been very colorful. And at the moment, you know, now this is vlog 127, maybe at vlog 250 I will start releasing a little bit more extra juicier thing. One other thing that I want to do is because I recorded over 900 videos from miserable periods in my life, I want to start using them as an intro and then talk about those stuff. So I got a lot of material to work with. The way my vlogs are authentic, spoken from the heart, and I'm gonna get better every single day when it's about my speaking, body language, etc, etc, and also make it more clearer by put things more in context. But you know, I'm still looking for my real voice. You know, maybe the Don who is 50, you know, he speaks like an angel. No, I'm not gonna say that, but I do have I really want this from the inside. I want to communicate as good as possible. You know, I mentioned this guy before. What is his name? Anyway, a guy in a suit, young guy. He speaks like, you know how their brain works. I don't know, but he speaks very to the point, very nicely formatted with you know, that people really understand. But he also uses higher level language, which I'm not getting into. I just want to speak to the people. I want to reach the people who cannot open a Facebook page and then they think, hey, let's try it. Because when I lost everything in Holland when I was 30, I didn't know anything about Facebook pages. Hey, and another thing, and then I'm gonna stop talking. What I am going to do, and that is maybe tomorrow, then I go to the McDonald's where I was also sitting every single day to figure it out. And it was 16 years ago here in Bulgaria, around Endika. McDonald's still looks the same, and I'm gonna sit on that table and eat my first McDonald's meal of this year, because I eat maybe 2 times per year McDonald's, and maybe that's something nice to do. And maybe I will do even a live video when I'm gonna eat this thing, because for the lives I think I want to make some special stuff. I don't know what. Oh, I already talked for 55 minutes. Let's cut it. Ciao for now. And open your eyes. Open your eyes. And I also do believe this, eh? When you start opening your eyes, you think sometimes maybe, you know, this guy wasn't so nice, or this girl wasn't so nice actually. And or also listening to your gut. Eh? Life gives us all the signs. You have pain, of your body also tells, if you have pain, there's something wrong. Or just, in my case, I would say just get over it and just train yourself, have that. But the thing is, I also don't give medical advice. Eh? But the thing is, when you feel uncomfortable with people, there's something wrong. Is it about you doing better? Test some things, implement something, the things that I'm saying, try it. And if it doesn't change, your gut is telling you where you have to go. And if you don't know where to go, then figure out where you don't want to be anymore. What are the locations or the people that make you feel every time a little bit, now I feel a little bit more depressed. Or, you know, they make, every time they're gaslighting me because I'm making you aware of this. And then you go back to my vlogs and you say, hey, yeah, I implemented this. Now, if that's true, then let me try one of those automation things. Anyway, or those strategies. Let's stop it. Stop, Dallon. Stop talking. I know. Ciao for now.